Are you looking at starting digital marketing for your small business? If so, this is the video for you. As more and more businesses and people go online, there is a growing need for digital marketers. So whether you're trying to market your small business out to the world or you're looking at creating your own digital marketing services to help other businesses, we're going to talk about everything you need to know in this video. Hey, I'm Molly from the Visibility Hacking team, and I help people just like you, small business owners and those who have a deep-seated passion for helping small businesses. We help you grow. We build what we like to call connection machines, but we'll talk more about that later on. In this video, you're going to learn who you should focus on, what to look for, and 3 game-changing actions to take now. Those will be at the end of the video, so stay tuned. You ready to get into it? So let's roll the intro. The very first thing you need to think about, whether you are marketing for your small business or you're helping other small businesses market their services and products, the very first thing that you have to pay attention to is understanding who your audience is. So many clients come to me and they want to skip this step, or they have skipped this step many times in the past. This is the foundation, and if you try and build a house on a shaky foundation or a non-existent foundation, eventually that house is going to crumble, no matter how nicely you've painted it. So focus on the foundation first. And what this means is I want you to get to know who your people are. Where do they hang out? What are they worried about? Where do they go for comfort? What kind of pain are they running away from or trying to avoid? And what kind of pleasure are they working towards? I want you to figure out what they are struggling with. Because if you're going to design products and services, we design our products and services on these pain points to serve and help overcome those pain points. But from a marketing perspective, we want to be able to speak to these struggles. We want to be able to speak to the things that are motivating our customers, either to move towards or away from something. Okay, what does that mean? When we're working away from pain, let's talk about a big company that's in the news right now, Theranos. They were really popular because of their great idea of creating a better way to go through blood testing. I know as someone who hates going for blood tests, that the Theranos idea of a single pinprick so that we don't have to deal with big needles and big vials of blood and all of that stuff. They recognized that there was a problem, there was a pain point, there was something that their ideal customers were trying to get away from, and so they created a better solution. And from a marketing perspective, if you've ever heard Elizabeth Holmes, the way that she passionately talks in her very deep CEO voice, but she passionately talks about this idea that this better world that she paints, that we won't have to watch our loved ones die or get sick because we'll be able to figure out those biomarkers earlier in life. So she's recognizing the pain, helping people get away from that pain of watching a loved one pass or watching a loved one go through sickness or going through sickness ourselves. That's the pain we're getting away from, towards the pleasure of having a long and healthy life with our family and our loved ones, having regular information about our health markers, those kinds of things, having more body autonomy and control over our health records. All of that stuff was this pleasure, this good thing that she was helping her people move towards. The only way she was able to create that messaging, this is marketing, was because she listened and recognized her audience. She understood where their pain was, what their pleasure was, what helped them, what would be convenient for them, etc., etc. So when you are looking at designing marketing messages, whether it's for your own small business or it's for someone else's small business, you have to make sure that you're doing that foundational work to understand who your ideal customer is, who your avatar is, so you can create messaging that ties and speaks directly to them. Let's have a get to know you party down in the comments. Let me know who you are, who is your avatar. If you're struggling with that, let me know as well. I'd love to help you get through this and build that solid foundation. Now let's look over at KPIs, or key performance indicators. This is definitely what you will hear in the elevators of big businesses, where all of the recent business grads and interns will conglomerate together and they'll be throwing out these big buzzwords, and KPIs is something they throw out viciously. So KPIs are things that we as small business owners and small business marketers do need to pay attention to, but they differ depending on your business. Key performance indicators are unique to each business. So you might be looking at the number of views that a video is getting, or you might be looking at the number of leads that are generated through your intro funnel, or you might be looking at the number of overall conversions through a larger launch campaign. Looking at the specific measurable performance indicators helps us measure whether or not a campaign was successful. Or we can compare campaign A to campaign B and see which one performed better, for example. We do this because a lot of marketers, or a lot of people in the marketing space, are really creative. And I know myself, I love to dive into the creative world where we're looking at feelings and emotions, and we're telling stories, and we're creating beautiful visuals and experiences. But the reality is you can't measure experience. You can measure experience by asking people how they feel, and you can get testimonials out of that, but we can't actually go to a board meeting really and compare apples to apples if we don't have those same units of measure. I say this because I used to teach people how to set better goals. And one of the things you have to do when you're setting good goals is to put in some type of measure. So if we are talking about, if you look back at old houses, or maybe this happened while you were growing up. If it did, let me know down below. But at your house, did your parents measure you and your siblings on the wall and put little markers at each of your birthdays? That is a measure that shows Bobby is this tall and Sally is this tall. Therefore, Sally is taller. We can measure that because we're using the same scale, the same ruler, for example. When we're talking about experiences, we don't really have that ability. But the world of digital marketing is fantastic because it is so steeped in these types of analytics. There are people in the digital marketing space and in the business space overall who are analytics and data junkies. That is what motivates them. Maybe what motivates you is the data, or maybe what motivates you is the creative, or maybe what motivates you is connecting with other people. But finding those moments to make sure that your whole team is on the same page about what KPIs, what key performance indicators are important in this campaign. So think about it. It could be leads, could be views, it could be likes, it could be shares, it could be comments, it could be comments from new people, it could be a whole slew of different ideas. But if you want to help us here in the visibility hacking world pump up our KPIs, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button and join us here on the channel. Now, if you want to start digital marketing either for your own business or for someone else's small business, there are so many different places that you can go, so many different things to look at, so many different ways to specialize in your unique niche. I love live streaming, or I talked earlier at the beginning of this video about connection machines. These are the processes and systems that we build into our businesses that help us not only connect with new customers, bringing them into our world, warming them up, but it also nurtures those who have been in our community for a while. People who are at different stages in our value ladder, people who are not on the fence anymore, who have dove full in. So that's what we do as connection machines. We're talking live streams, we're talking podcasts, we're talking live events, we're talking virtual events, we're talking coaching sessions, we're talking the whole deal. All of those are methods that we use to connect with our people. So that's our little niche. Maybe you are really big into huge live stream events. Maybe you are into helping people with their expert interviews. Whatever your little niche is, I want you to investigate it. And if you're like, I don't really know what my niche is, Molly, that's why I came here. I'm here to figure it out. So what I want you guys to do then is to go look at what everyone else is doing. Go jump into these communities and see what other entrepreneurs and other small businesses are doing with their marketing. Analyze it, unpack it, rip it apart to put it back together. When I was a kid, one of my favorite things to do when I was playing would be to take toys apart, and I'd lay them out piece by piece so I wouldn't lose any of the screws or little bolts or washers or anything. And I would lay them all out just so I can put the thing back together. That's how I understood how these different toys and systems worked. I carried that through to today, where I'm still unpacking, ripping apart different campaigns so I can figure out what worked. Keeping in mind what we've already talked about with our KPIs, looking at those performance metrics, those analytics that I have access to when it's not my own campaign, right? There are things that we can see. There is data that's collected out there that is open and available to the public. So looking at those things to try and get a bigger, better picture of, is this campaign working? Or who are they trying to target and how are they targeting them? And what are they looking at as their success marker, right? So look at other campaigns that are out there. Look at ways that you can engage with your people with live streaming, with email, with social media. There are so many different ways for you to get involved and for your small business to get visible out there. If you want more help getting your small business visible or learning more about the world of digital marketing, then I highly recommend you head over to the visibility hacking community. We have an awesome community in our Facebook group. We go live on a regular basis. We have a great variety of shows and an amazing community of people who really just want to get their communities out there, get their voice and their message out there to the world, share their visibility, share the solutions that they have, and really honestly change the world with what they're doing, change the lives, their own lives, the lives of their family, and the world much wider than that. So if you want to join us, all you have to do is head over to visibilityhacking.com. At the very top of the page, there's a button that says Become an Official Visibility Hacker, Become a Visibility Hacker. Click that button, it'll pop you over into our Facebook group. Just answer a couple questions so we know you're not a robot. And then we'll pop you in the group. We'd love to see you there. So visibilityhacking.com, click the button at the top, or you can just head over to your Facebook page, type in Visibility Hacking, and you'll find our group there. All right, guys, I will see you in our next one. And until then, remember, as per usual, I love you. Be excellent to each other, and go build your connection machines.